Hello friends, welcome to my channel Miss Recap. Today I am going to explain 2009 animated action adventure movie called Monsters vs Aliens. Little mishaps on a wedding are expected, but what if the bride turns into a giant right before saying her vows? When everyone was sleeping through the peaceful night, a giant meteor headed towards the Earth. It's expected to fall on California in just a few hours. Meanwhile, in the same city, a girl named Sussanne is woken up by her friends early in the morning. They want her to watch the weather report presented by Sussanne's fiancé Derek. He confesses his love for Sussanne on national television and announces his marriage that's going to happen today. Sussanne is really excited to marry her love of life and believes Derek is the best partner she can get, handsome, successful, and loving. After getting dressed up, Sussanne reaches the venue with her friends and mother. Her father welcomes her and reminds her that even though she will be married soon, her father will always be there for her. After meeting her mother-in-law, Sussanne goes out to get some fresh air. Derek comes over to meet her and Sussanne explains how excited she is for their honeymoon in Paris. Derek reveals that there is a little change of plans. They are going to Fresno instead because Derek has to give an important job interview there. That's the only flaw in Derek. He always gives priority to himself and his career. Sussanne does not want to ruin the moment and agrees to the new plans. After Derek leaves, Sussanne notices something falling from the sky. It's heading right towards her. She tries to run away, but the meteoroid falls over her eventually. Her mother comes over but doesn't notice the meteoroid and tells Sussanne to pull herself together to say her vows. As soon as she steps in the church, her body starts glowing and turns green. The meteoroid has left some side effects on her. Suddenly, her body starts to grow bigger until she becomes a giant. Everyone gets scared and runs away. Sussanne begs Derek to help, but he is frightened as well. Sussanne breaks out of the church and gets in the front yard. The government sends his team immediately and hits Sussanne with a tranquilizer. She starts dozing and falls on the ground. She wakes up again on hearing a creepy siren. She is wearing an unknown uniform being carried in a metallic lift. It stops in a white room and pushes Sussanne outside. At first, there is no one around, but Sussanne keeps hearing faint voices. It's coming from the normal-sized monsters near her feet. There is a man-sized cockroach, a hybrid fish, and a blue slimy monster. They try to calm down Sussanne, but she can't stop panicking and wishes this all to be a dream. Suddenly, another monster steps in that's 100 times bigger than Sussanne. She keeps screaming and calls for help. Eventually, a human resources there and orders the other monsters to go back to their cells. It's General W.R. Monger in charge of this facility. He takes Sussanne to give her a tour of facility and help her understand her current situation. In 1950, it was decided that the public could not handle the truth about monsters and should focus on more important things like paying taxes. So, the government convinced the world monsters were stuff of myth and legend and then locked them in the facility. Sussanne is now a monster too and gets the name Ginormica. She is going to stay here for an indefinite period of time with no contact with the outside world. This is a secret agency and even Sussanne's parents will not get to see her ever again. She has to live the rest of her life in a metal box and General Monger wants her to assume it is like a hotel room. Meanwhile, far away in space, an alien named Galaxar is looking for the meteoroid that fell on Earth. It contained a power substance called contonium. That's what infected Sussanne. Galaxar immediately sends a giant probe to Earth so it can bring contonium. It lands near a young couple who were having a peaceful date. The girl gets curious and proceeds to check out the probe, but she gets scared on seeing the giant robotic eye and runs away. The next morning, government and military officers surround the probe. President Hathaway suggests handling the matter peacefully and takes his responsibility on his soldiers. He confidently climbs up the stairs and starts playing weird music. The officers enjoy the music, but the alien probe doesn't seem impressed. It pulls out its tentacles and starts attacking everyone. All the weapons are useless on the probe and the government has to evacuate the city. The president calls an emergency meeting to discuss their next step. General Monger joins in and suggests using the team he has been preparing for years, the monsters. He presents them in front of the board. Insectosaurus, Nuclear radiation turned him from a small grub 350-foot tall monster that attacked Tokyo, Link, a 20,000-year-old frozen fishman who was thawed out by scientists. The next one is Dr. Cockroach, the most brilliant man in the world. He invented a scientific machine that would give humans the cockroach's ability to survive. Unfortunately, there was a side effect and he turned into a cockroach. Then came Bob. A genetically altered tomato was combined with a chemically altered ranch-flavored dessert, topping at a snack food plant. The resulting goop gained consciousness and became indestructible gelatinous mass. And the latest addition, Ginormica, her entire body radiates with pure energy, giving her enormous strength and size. Meanwhile, Sussanne requests Dr. Cockroach uses his invention to turn her back to normal, but he fails. She wants to escape, but no monster ever escaped this terrific facility. Even the Invisible Man could not sneak away and died by a heart stroke. Suddenly, General Monger reaches there and congratulates the monsters for achieving a golden opportunity. They have to fight the alien robot, and in exchange, the president will grant them freedom. Sussanne can't believe she can go back home soon and continue her wedding with Derek. They all fly in the military jets and reach the designated city. It's already been evacuated, so no humans get harmed by the battle between the monsters and the aliens. Sussanne was so lost in dreaming about freedom, she did not realize the seriousness of the situation. How is she going to fight a gigantic alien robot? Link and Dr. Cockroach understands her concern and ask her to hide away in the city until they take care of the enemy. The alien probe steps on Bob and he gets under his feet. Afterward, the alien rushes towards the city to catch Sussanne. She jumps over one building to another but can't run much away from the alien robot. Suddenly, she gets a creative idea and uses the vehicle as roller skates to increase her speed. Dr. Cockroach has modified one of the vehicles too and rushes towards the alien along with Link. They have reached the Golden Bridge where humans are still traveling. The alien robot opens his mouth to expose a bunch of grinders that are going to crush Sussanne. Luckily, Insectosaurus comes at the right time to stop the robot. Dr. Cockroach, having a hard shell, jumps into the robot's mouth and reaches its control. After messing them up, he gets out again. Link and Bob help the public escape while Sussanne uses the bridge wires to wrap up the robot. It falls down brutally and turns off. The monsters have completed their mission successfully. Meanwhile, Galaxar gets informed about his failure. The Contonium is finally setting up in Sussanne's body, giving her immense strength and immunity. A probe will not be able to defeat her anymore, so Galaxar decides to handle this task by himself. He orders his robot assistant to prepare a ship to land on Earth. Unaware of upcoming danger, Sussanne is celebrating her success. She can't believe she literally defeated a gigantic alien robot. The other monsters admire her too and feel honored to work with her. However, Sussanne still wants to return to his normal life as soon as possible. She will not remain a giant forever because she believes Derek will not rest until he finds a cure for her. They are partners who love each other dearly. How they can abandon each other? Hearing her story, the other monsters also show a desire to meet Sussanne's family and Derek. General Monger drops them at Sussanne's house and her parents welcome them warmly. However, they are not used to Sussanne's being a giant or the monster friends she brought. They arrange a welcome party, but Sussanne rushes to meet Derek while her friends enjoy the party. However, they soon start feeling uncomfortable as the public is not ready to accept them yet. Sussanne does not experience a good time either. She was so excited to meet Derek after almost a month, and she told him how much she missed him, but Derek does not seem happy at all. Sussanne reminds him that she is still the same girl he fell in love with, but Derek does not actually like someone more famous or talented than him. He explains that he has a career and an audience who looks forward for him. He can't just leave everything and start looking for a cure for Sussanne. He does not want to live under her shadow. Saying these selfish words, he walks away, leaving Sussanne heartbroken. The other monsters join her too and share their own unfortunate experience. Society only sees them as disgusting monsters and nothing more. No matter how hard they try, they can't get back to their previous lives. After recovering from the emotional trauma, Sussanne realizes that Derek was not the right man for her anyway. He was just a selfish jerk who only thought about himself. After getting away from him, Sussanne unlocked her true potential. She just fought off alien monsters and made some superhero friends. Actually, she does not need to be normal again and lead a better life being Ginormica. When everything seems fine, a huge spaceship glides over them. A bright light shines down and starts pulling Sussanne. Insectosaurus uses his tongue to save the girl, but the spaceship shoots a laser to kill the poor Insectosaurus. Sussanne is locked up by Galaxer, who want to absorb all the contonium out of her. It's the most powerful substance in the whole universe. Sussanne is getting control of the power and uses it to break out of the cell. Afterwards, she breaks all the obstacles in an attempt to catch Galaxer. However, he tricks her into reaching his lab and getting stuck in the extraction chamber. As contonium is absorbed out of her body, Sussanne gets back to normal size and in strength. Galaxer has destroyed his own planet and now he wants to take over the Earth. But he is going to kill all the humans before that. He uses contonium to make hundreds of his clones and order them around. Meanwhile, the other monsters can't let their friend's sacrifice go to waste. They take General Bonger's help to sneak into the alien ship to rescue Sussanne. The clones are way more dumb than Galaxer and assume that the monsters are one of them too. The monsters use this as a chance to run away with Sussanne. They get spotted by Galaxer, but before he can catch them, the monsters teach the power core. It's protected by a hexadecimal security code, but Dr. Cockroach knows how to crack it. After passing the security, Dr. Cockroach puts the ship on self-destruction mode. It will blast after 6 minutes. The monsters must leave the ship before that, but only Sussanne succeeds in getting past all the gates. The other monsters tells her to leave without them, but she is not that selfish. She absorbs the contonium again and becomes Ginormica to save her friends. They escape the ship but don't know how to reach the ground. Suddenly, Insectosaurus reaches there to catch them. He had not died but evolved into a butterfly instead. The ship is destroyed along with the aliens, but the monsters have survived. Everyone finally admires the skills of the monsters and thanks them for saving the world. Derek comes back too and requests Sussanne to give him an interview so he can get a promotion. But Sussanne is not that naive, stupid girl anymore. She immediately refuses and exposes Derek's true nature in a live broadcast. The adventure does not end here because the city still needs the monsters to keep everyone safe. Their next mission starts now. A great partner is not the one who outshines you or gets jealous of you. He is the one who admires your abilities and is ready to support you in every circumstance. The movie ends here. Thanks for watching. If you like it, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel.